Welcome back to Vintage Family Recipes. Tonight we are going to make buttermilk biscuits. This I find interesting because this recipe is actually in my uncle's handwriting. We lost him a couple of years ago and I miss him dearly, so I'm kind of excited to make his version of buttermilk biscuits. I don't have any idea where he got this from. It could have been my grandmother's, one of my great aunts, one of my aunts. He could have found it in a magazine for all I know. I have no idea. But it's in his handwriting, so I value it immensely. So here we go. I have already added the 5 1/4 cups of self-rising flour. I've added the teaspoon of baking soda and the 1/3 of a cup of sugar. I've already mixed that all together. I've also already made my buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk regularly available to you, I don't always. So I did something. I actually purchased buttermilk powder a while back. And so now whenever I need buttermilk, I just make my own with water and this powder. And that way I don't have to worry about it expiring on a certain date. I just use the powder and water. And I've also mixed my yeast and my water together as well. And I don't know what that was, but I took it out. Okay. I'm now supposed to use a cup of shortening, and I have blended all together. I have cut my shortening into small chunks so that they are easier to work with, and I'm going to put them in with my flour. I'm going to put about half of them in first to mix them with my pastry blender. And then I'll put the rest in. And I want to get this so it's all nice and chunked together. I want my Crisco to be about pea size mixed in with the flour when I'm done with it. Oops. Started to stick back together, so let me pull those apart a little bit more again and get these all nice and small within my flour mixture. I am sure that you could make this in a stand mixer or a regular mixer with a dough hook if you have one. I just decided to do it this way because I'm trying to do it the way that my family did it, and I know that my uncle did not have a stand mixer with a dough hook, so he would have done it like this. There we go. It's looking pretty good. Next, I'm going to add my buttermilk. It's 1 1/4 cups of buttermilk, and mix that in. I may have to use the KitchenAid just because of how much dough this actually is. I don't know that I can mix it in this bowl effectively, but I'm going to give it my best shot before I move it over. Yes, I am going to have to move this to the mixer. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this without it. Between how much dough it is and my lack of hand strength. Check this to see how much of a ball it actually makes, or if it's still too floury and or sticky. Go ahead and check this and see what it's like. Oops, kind of heavy for my hands today. Okay, yes, it is pretty good. I'm going to put a little bit of flour down. You would not be able to make these gluten-free because you have to use self-rising flour, and gluten-free flour does not self-rise. Now, if there is a self-rising gluten-free flour out there that I don't know about, I would love to hear about it so that I could try it. I'm actually going to divide this in half to roll it out. I'm not going to try to roll this all out. Go. Now I'm going to start to roll it. My little man needs needs to move or he's going to just keep falling over. There he is. He's hiding. Okay. Now that I have it rolled, I'm going to take my biscuit cutter and I am going to cut some biscuits. And then any leftover I will put back together and roll out to get more biscuits out of it. And here's my 2 3/4. I am not going to twist. I am just going to push down and pull it right back up and then put the biscuit on a greased baking sheet. It says they should be about 2 inches apart on the baking sheet. Once you get to this part where you're putting the biscuits down on the baking sheet and you're just cutting them, if you have littles, this would be a great thing to have your littles do to help you so that they're enjoying cooking. Is just have them push down on the cutter and pull it back up. Super easy step for them to do. And include them in your kitchen. I'm going to set the timer to let these rise for 20 minutes. It's not really that they're rising, it's more that they're just sitting for 20 minutes, kind of letting the air into them, and then because it's self-rising flour and there is yeast in there, hopefully they will come out nice and fluffy. It's time for our taste test. Buttermilk biscuits. Andrew's going to have them plain. Paul is going to have them with orange marmalade.
What do you think?
He's chewing.
I'm chewing. Up. They're good. They're nice and firm on the outside, but then they're chewy and soft on the inside.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that tastes very good.
I will tell you that the recipe called for 450 degrees, and the first batch actually was finished way earlier than the 20 minutes, and they actually started to burn on the bottom. So when I made when I put the next batch in the oven, I turned it down to 400, and I cooked it for I baked them for 15 minutes, and they came out fine. So I don't know if my uncle wrote the temperature wrong, or if my oven is actually too hot. So you're gonna wanna be careful when you cook them the first time and keep an eye on them. Thank you for joining us on Vintage Family Recipes. Have a great night.